I don't want my fiance's best friend's wife to come to my wedding. I don't really know what to do, and there is so much backstory here, but I'm really stressing about this girl that's invited to my wedding. I'm not really sure where to start because there's a lot that has led up to this moment. Ultimately, my fiancé has had Matt as his best friend for 20 years. Matt is a cool and solid guy, but he is not trustworthy. Matt just got married to Kat a couple of weeks ago, but they had been engaged since 2022. They were never in a rush to get married, and anytime anyone asked, that's exactly what they said. After my fiancé and I got engaged, winter 2025, and we knew we wanted a short engagement, Matt and Kat immediately started planning their wedding after they found out. Anytime I tried to talk to Kat about her wedding or otherwise, she either gave me an attitude or flat out ignored me. Unless she's had a few drinks where she asks about the tea, she ignores my existence completely. When I attended her bridal shower and wedding, she wouldn't even look in my direction, and when I went up to congratulate her, she sounded less than enthused about it. I recently found out that Kat has been saying terrible things about me when I'm not around, and essentially tries to turn one of my closest friends against me. It seems to be working. According to the people I heard from that Kat was talking bad, they think she might be upset that I'm stealing her man's best friend from him. But what? I don't think that makes sense. I don't want her starting any drama at my wedding. I don't want to be stressed that she and my other close friends are spending time together at my wedding, but this is technically my fiancé's call, right? Since it's his best friend's wife. It's as much his day as it is mine, but I don't want this girl bringing her shadow and putting a damper on the whole thing. What could the solution be here? In the comments, I think you're going to have a lot more drama if you don't invite her, to be honest. Just don't sit her with your friends. OP says, yeah, you're right about the drama. We are having a small ceremony though, 40 people, and there's no seating assignment at the restaurant we booked. It's a buffet and kinda just a lounge type of vibe. Tough. It's not just your wedding, it's also your fiancé's wedding, as you said. And I'm sure he'd prefer it if his best friend had his wife there. Seat her elsewhere and just suck it up for the day. OP says, actually, he doesn't like her either. OP, is this a pattern for you? And by this, I mean feeling like you have to manage everyone else's emotions to avoid conflict. The reason I ask is that your other post suggests that you find it deeply uncomfortable to put yourself forward or let other people manage their own reactions. If I'm wrong, then I'll shut my mouth. If I'm not, and this is a pattern, then I feel for you. It's a hard pattern to break, but with work, it is possible. Finally, let people talk about you if you want. It only affects your life if you let it. Be unbothered and focus on yourself. OP says, thank you for this. I've actually done a lot of work to get where I am, but it's still a work in progress. I've always had issues with feeling like I'm a burden to others and just putting myself last because it's easier to regulate my emotions than to deal with other people's emotions. That being said, I figured that a wedding day was important enough to put myself first, but I'm not the only one in the picture here. It's my fiancé also. Also, I don't care in the slightest if people talk about me, I just don't want that vibe at my wedding. Well, I don't think you can exclude her without drama. Be the bigger person. People know who the asshole is. And OP says, yeah, you're right. Really looking for boundaries I can set, or maybe have people that can run interference during the day. I don't know. Maybe I'm making this a bigger deal than it is. Seems like there are no drama-free options. Pick the one that you can live with. What kind of close friends believe the other person without cause? OP says, probably the people-pleaser kind that don't like conflict and always want to keep the peace so they don't stick up for their friends. You said that Kat was starting to turn people against you. There's a difference between being too wimpy to speak up and switching sides. OP says, maybe I'm viewing it the wrong way. I understand everyone has their stuff going on, but I've been reaching out to my friend to get together with her since the spring. Without fail, she will cancel or change plans, which never end up happening, but always makes time for Kat. I've gone out of my way for this friend many times. Maybe I'm missing something, and I should definitely have a conversation with her directly as soon as I can. but something has been fishy. Maybe Kat didn't turn this friend against me per se, but something is different than it used to be before Kat showed up. But thank you for helping me realize that I need to talk to my friend before jumping to conclusions. When told OP should talk with her fiancé to let him know what was going on and what he thinks about this, OP says, I actually just talked to him about everything going on, and he said that everyone that is invited is invited. Asking anyone not to come would cause more drama, which is the opposite of what we want, and that after our day, we don't have to associate with them anymore. Honestly, he and his best friend haven't even been talking lately, so I'm not really sure where he stands there. I mean, he still wants him at his wedding, but he doesn't like or respect his best friend's wife. So at this point, they have also grown distant recently. At this point, she has already been invited to the wedding. I don't think it'd be right to uninvite her just because she's been talking shit lately. If your goal is drama avoidance and not having to deal with bullshit, this is the path of least resistance. You uninviting her is going to cause a lot more trouble than it's worth. Your fiancé's approach is the cleanest path through this. Let her come to the wedding, but keep her at a distance. I don't think you owe her any warmth. You don't owe her attention. Just be polite. Nothing more than that. You can have a friend or a bridesmaid run interference if she does try to pull anything, but you should be focused on spending time with people that actually make you happy. This isn't about you, it's about whatever weird insecurity that she's nursing. I don't want you to let her poison your day. Focus on marrying the love of your life because that's all that matters. If she wants to stew in her bullshit, let her do it. Because everyone else will see her behavior for what it is, while you come out looking like the better person in this situation. They will notice the difference. And now, on to the update. Okay, so fiancé and I talked. He had been growing kinda distant from this friend anyway, so he basically told me that we won't pay attention to them since it's our wedding, and afterwards we don't really need to associate with them. After this talk, his best friend Matt called him on a Saturday afternoon and invited us to his son's birthday party. When fiancé told me about this, I asked who was gonna be there. Is it a small thing, or was this planned and we were an afterthought? Matt's wife Kat would have done all the inviting to the party. Well, we show up, and we were definitely an afterthought. This party was pretty huge. Grandparents and great-grandparents were there. All their friends and their families, etc. We ended up staying for a little bit, but leaving before most of the others. We kept to the plan that we spoke about, even though the whole party thing hurt, especially since my fiancé is supposed to be this kid's godparent. Anyway, wedding day comes, and this group of friends is running late. My fiancé kept walking away from the officiant when they asked if we were ready to start to buy time for the friends to show up. They were probably 20 minutes late. Whatever. I don't care. I'm as cool as a cucumber and am just going with the flow of the day. We get through the ceremony without a hitch after they arrive. After the ceremony, we do posed pics, family, friends, etc. We get to the girls' pics, and Kat is like, "Do you want me in this?" I'm agreeable because I'm in a fantastic mood and don't really think anything of it. At the reception though, some of my high school friends tell me that Kat is being weird, rude, and whatever. My other friend told me at the end of the night that Kat announced her pregnancy when I was in the other room. All in all, there was no direct drama with me, and the day was everything that I could have asked for, and more. I think at this point we're planning on keeping these friends at arm's length and just living our lives. Thanks to everyone who gave me constructive advice. It was helpful to get some outsider's perspective. In the comments, in this situation, I think keeping these friends at arm's length should mean not doing anything purposely to engage with them and leave the burden of mending the relationship on them. If they don't, then you know that they're no longer really friends and you can cut your losses. You all sound really young, so you've probably not yet learned that a lot of friendships you make early in your adulthood don't survive as you all grow, mature, and choose different paths in life. Congrats on your wedding, and I hope a very long and fulfilling marriage for you. Fun fact, if you announce your pregnancy at someone else's wedding, you don't get good attention. You just look like a shitty person who shouldn't be invited to future big events. Especially considering that she's just the wife of his best friend. There's no guarantee that he's close to anyone in OP's husband's life, and outside of mutual friends between the men, Not many will know her personally since she's so hostile to OP. You know what, this does sound like the best possible outcome that you could have hoped for. I think you handled everything with a lot of grace, OP. You didn't let her energy or her weird attempts to center herself affect you on that day. And the fact that she waited until you were out of the room to announce her pregnancy, I think that says everything that you need to know about her character and also nothing about yours. I hope that they don't reach out to you after this and that arm's length stays as it is. Sounds like you guys are on the same page here, and that's all that matters. You protected your big day, you kept the focus where it belonged, and you got the beautiful wedding that you all deserved. That is a win in my books. Thank you for the update, thank you for the story, and I'm glad that you're learning to set good, healthy boundaries with dickheads like her. She really is kind of just pathetic, and you don't need to waste your time with people like that. Our next post is by a deleted account, and it's titled, I broke up with my girlfriend on Christmas because of her family. Okay, I'm of indigenous descent. I do perform at powwows and sing too. My girlfriend is white, and so is her family, except for her brother-in-law. He's African American. This is my first Christmas with them and my girlfriend. We've been together for a year and a half. There is that bit of backstory. So I went to my girlfriend's family gathering for Christmas yesterday, and while there, it comes up that I dance and sing at powwows. Conversation starts off innocent enough, but I get that feeling that people of color get sometimes when these sort of talks come up, and I know something offensive is about to go down. There's about 15 grown people there and 4 children, so I'm fielding questions and statements like, do the words mean anything or is it just gibberish? I can hop too. Well, how much Indian are you? Do you get money from the casino? Anyway, girlfriend's uncle tells me to do an Indian chant and wants me to dance too. I said no, and then girlfriend's dad chimes in with a, come on, do one, and then like 6 others start asking. I say that it's just weird and I don't want to. Girlfriend's brother-in-law is staring at the floor, glancing over at me with a look that says, I'm so sorry. And after about 5 minutes of this shit, her uncle tells his kids to dance and sing like an Indian. So then there's 2 white children making Indian noises and jumping around the room. Girlfriend is laughing. Like, what the hell? And everyone is cheering for them. Me and the brother-in-law are staring in complete fucking disbelief. Then they start in on me again and say they can do it. Show them how it's actually done. I've had enough. I stand up and tell them that I'm not their fucking show monkey and they need to be more respectful of other cultures. Girlfriend just sits there. She's been to at least 10 of my performances and claims to love my culture, and she not once defended me or it here. I look over at her and ask her to help me out here, and she sheepishly says, they're just kidding around. And I say, okay, well, I'm not kidding around when I say we are done. Her dad and uncle start saying something, and her sister says that that's not fair, and I start walking to the bedroom to get my shit to leave. While doing so, I forget that she drove her car, and I'm without transport to get 4 hours to my apartment. So I suck it up, go back out there while my ex-girlfriend's grandma is telling everyone off. She was also not happy about what transpired. She's a goddamn saint of a woman. I say to my ex-girlfriend, you need to take me home now. Please. She's crying, naturally, and her dad says, find your own way, you fucking idiot. And brother-in-law stands up and says, I'll do it. His wife tells him not to, and he says something like this was all too much, and he can't just leave me stranded. So I get into his truck, and I'm shaking. I'm still so fucking pissed off, and he gets in, starts it up, and we're off. About 15 minutes down the road, he looks at me and says, bro, what the fuck? And we start laughing. He tells me about what happened his first time meeting that family and all the stories thereafter, and honestly, I think I dodged a bullet. So today, I've been getting messages from my friends and mutual friends of my ex about how I'm an asshole for breaking up with her in front of her family, cussing them all out, and demanding that they fly me back home. Apparently, she's been feeding them all an extremely exaggerated event. One asked me if I keyed her dad's car before I left. Like, what the hell? Anyways, I've been feeling kinda bad for dumping her in front of her family like that. My adrenaline is still active, and my nerves are all on end. Is what I did too much? How do I get my friends to believe that what I did was justified? I know she probably didn't mean what she did, but still. She's also been texting me and trying to smooth things over, but I honestly don't see it, especially after lying to our friends. But also, part of me really does miss her. We've been holed up at my place for 11 months, getting to know almost everything about each other. I'm confused. I know me and most of her family are done, even if we work this shit out. It's a weird thing to love someone, and then suddenly you have to tell yourself you don't anymore. In the comments, Miss Lexi Black says, "Fuck that noise. Her family is racist, and she didn't stand up for you. You dodged a bullet. You don't owe anyone a performance, and I'd break up with someone treating me like a dancing monkey too." The fact that she doubled down and started lying about what happened shows just how much love and respect that she has for you. Move on with a clear conscience and don't look back. You deserve someone who will stand up for you. Sending you love. Yeah, that must have been incredibly gutting what you had to deal with in that situation, and obviously, brother-in-law understands you completely, and I wouldn't doubt that he's been through something similar as well. And to have someone that you love and trust freeze up instead of helping you out, that would hurt the most. She knew exactly what was happening, she knew that it was wrong, and she did nothing to help out. She just said, just do it. It's not that bad. Just embarrass yourself in front of everyone. I'm not going to defend you. She allowed them to mock your culture and reduce you to a novelty. That's not okay. She laughed in your face as well. What part of that was them meaning well? She's a coward and she's complicit in their reactions. Nothing you did was an overreaction here. You treated yourself like someone with self-respect who has been disrespected beyond reason. And for your friends, if they choose to believe her version of events, knowing who you are, having lived alongside you, understanding who you are as a person, when you tell them the truth once, they should be able to believe you. And if they don't, then they're not your friends. The ones worth keeping around will understand and they will take your side. And the missing her part, I get that. That's normal. You did build something real with her before this happened. I'm not going to discount that. But love doesn't excuse silence in the face of bigotry. You didn't lose someone who loved you, though. You lost someone who failed to protect you when it mattered most. Someone that should have stood up against her family but chose not to. Those are not the actions of someone that loves you. And now, onto the update. So, first off, thank you for the awards and stuff, the kind words, and mostly the advice. Second, I turned off my phone after my original post and immediately got hammered, passed out, woke up at 2 p.m. the next day, ordered some motherfrickin' waffles, and built my dog a bed that she won't sleep in. Whatever, I guess. And then got in my car, went to Best Buy to buy a PS5. They didn't have one, naturally, so I bought a new TV instead, got a Switch and some games, and have been living the best fucking life that I possibly could be living. No phone, no internet, except for the gaming, no social media, and honestly, no heartache. I finally turned my phone back on today to an absolute onslaught of texts, missed calls, voicemails, Facebook messages, Twitter messages, and you name it. There was a message on my PS from my brother even. I did respond to him to let him know that I was fine and to tell our family not to worry. I was just dealing with it in my own way. The juicy bits are as follows. X is terribly sorry and she doesn't condone what they did, but it's her family and she didn't mean to laugh or whatever. She keeps trying to bait me to respond with things like, "What about our history? We talked about having a family." Basically, trying everything. I will admit that I did respond once, and I said, politely, "Please leave me alone. What we had was great. I enjoyed every bit of it as much as you claim that you had, but that was absolutely horrific to watch, and watching you laugh at it was heartbreaking and abhorrent. We have no chance after what I experienced." Hopefully that didn't paste in a weird format, but she has since messaged me a few more times. Then I think she finally realized it's over. Her dad or uncle, I'm honestly not sure who, texted me to apologize for what happened. I never responded, and I probably won't. Her grandma added me on Facebook. That goddamn sweetheart. She's like 80 and posted the night that this all happened that she has never been so disappointed on a holiday. Then has been spamming the newsfeed with Indigenous history stuff and made a big long post on the anniversary of Wounded Knee that was absolutely beautiful. I'm talking with her about her granddaughter. She thinks that I should give her another shot. I told her it's honestly not something I want to deal with right now. She gets it though. Our friend group has basically been split down the middle. Half still think that I should have waited until Christmas was over to break up, the other half just don't really give a shit anymore, I guess. There's a few friends that I did explain what happened, and that went about as smooth as shitting bricks sideways. They refused to believe that she would just sit there and do nothing, despite screenshots of her literally saying that she was sorry for laughing and not doing anything. So, they are gone. I'm done with them. Some of my closer pals told me that they never trusted her, and I ask why, and they said it's because she called fry bread lefsy one time. Lol. Other than that, our friends are all filled in from what happened on both sides. Whatever they decide, it is what it is. The real hero of the situation, the brother-in-law. I showed him the post and he had a few things to say. 1, he said fuck the guy who called him the N-word or something. Yeah, fuck that guy. And 2, he says that him and his wife are actually in the middle of a divorce, but were trying to reconcile before going through with it because they have a child together. 3, he says thanks for all the MVP acknowledgement, and he says that he couldn't just leave a brother hanging like that. I learned that he's a quarter Choctaw. And last, he says he hates racism as much as the next decent person, but love is a crazy, beautiful, fickle, wonderful bitch. What are you gonna do? I think that about covers most of everything. I don't expect there will be another update from here. And again, thanks for the kindness. You're all amazing, except that one guy. In the comments, dbones90 says, what a shit show. And the family can't even blame it on being from a different generation because, somehow, that grandma was way better than all of them. I noticed that too. Lady was having none of it. I'm just glad that OP got out before kids were involved. Feel bad for brother-in-law in that he's still gonna have to be involved with them, unless his ex-wife majorly shakes up and pulls her head out of her ass. That's why you gotta cut that shit off earlier before it gets so atrocious. Even a conflict-avoidant person should have said, hey, alright, the kids are gonna dance and he doesn't want to dance tonight, so let's just move on and talk about blah blah blah. Yeah, you do have to cut that shit off as early as possible because look what it devolved into. OP knew that it was going to devolve into that situation, and it's not like OP had the power to cut that off himself. It should have at least been a joint effort between him and the girlfriend at stopping it at the stores. But as soon as you got the kids going, they're all going to pile in on top of each other, and you just have one family against you. Yes, even a conflict-avoidant person should have said, hey guys, they don't want to do it. And that potentially was going to be brother-in-law in that situation, I'd imagine. But the fact that he didn't do it tells me, well, at least I'm going to assume, they've been racist to him as well in the past, and that's absolutely why the divorce is happening. So I would assume that he knew him speaking up and being like, hey guys, he doesn't want to dance, let's just move on and talk about it, would actually create more racism with these people. So the only thing to have done would be removing themselves from that situation because there was no winning. Disgusting situation all around. Good on you, OP, for breaking up with that racist piece of trash. I hope she, thinks about this and distances herself from those people. But I don't think she will. I think that she is more than happy to participate in that family culture, and good on her. She can deal with losing more boyfriends in the future if that's what she wants, because that's what will happen. I say good luck to her. Thank you for the story, and thank you for the update, OP. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.